So I wanted to take a video showing a couple of the differences between the HKS Hipermax coilovers and also the Fortunato. Both of these are for the Evo 8, Evo 9 chassis, and I'm putting them on the 3000 GT. Um, right off the bat, out of the box, I like that the anodizing on top and like the letters printed, are opposite. So whenever you put your coilovers on the car, the letters aren't upside down. Typically on cheaper coilovers, they just stamp them one way or print them one way, and it's the same, because it's mass produced, but they at least take the time to make it look normal when you pop the hood and see whose brand is there. I mean, it's small detail, but attention to detail is, really nice. Um, the one thing I also like is the adjustment knobs are on top, like most coilovers. I don't know why HKS decided to do this. This is literally my least favorite thing about the coilovers because, you have to get underneath your car and adjust these. I mean, you could turn the wheel and stick your arm under there and lay on the ground and adjust, your dampening that way. But, and that's not, the end of the world, especially if you're, a track person. But, if you're just, wearing decent clothes and you want to adjust it, you're laying on the ground. So there's that. Minor inconvenience, first world problem, whatever. But the other thing I noticed too is these are, like a CNC steel or whatever, just cut out of steel. And these are also, CNC aluminum, made out of a billet material. So I kind of, like this over that, I guess, in terms of it just being maybe a little lighter. But, the steel is going to be more durable and it's going to, pinch to the actual knuckle. So when you tighten it down, whereas this just, aluminum's kind of solid. It doesn't really want to fold over too much, but I'm sure it does pinch to some extent. HKS's quality, top notch. I do like their products, and I stand behind most of what they make. But it doesn't seem like their product support or customization, customability, whatever, is the same as what the Fortunatos are. You could send these back in, tell them what you want. You want camber plates, you want to upgrade, to a 510 or whatever you want to do. You can do that. These, I couldn't even get the camber plates from HKS whenever we reached out to them. So I've had issues with the lower bolts coming loose, even though I cranked them down for a camber adjustment. And then the spring starts rubbing the tire. And with these cars and their goofy wheel offsets, sometimes the wheel gets really, really close once you start lowering them to the spring assembly. So that's another thing that I don't really care for is the, fixed upper camber adjustment, no camber plate, unless you buy the coilovers from HKS that come that way. You can get them, and I kind of wish I would have purchased those, but the fact that you can't just call HKS and say, hey, can you send me a set of top hats, with the camber adjustments, something I'm also not a fan of. So there's that. One thing I do notice that is maybe a plus for the HKS is like the strut body itself is much larger than these Fortunatos, but from what I understand, the Fortunatos are an inverted strut, so that's where their ride quality comes from. These, I assume they're a traditional style. I'm not sure if they're inverted or not. That's beyond my suspension knowledge, but just some things that I've noticed. The build quality on both is amazing. So, I mean, I have really no complaints about that, but the Hypermax is just not for me just because of this lower, adjustment. And as I was lowering, the car, I like my stuff low. That's just my personal preference. The threads start coming out here just by a little bit, but then now you have an extra, half inch for this adjustment that is now right next to your CV boot. So, I had a gap between there, but, if it ever catches, it's ripping something. It shouldn't. It's fixed. It spins, but hey, you never know. So it's just a design I don't care for. And if I would have known that this was down here, I probably would have never purchased the HKS coilovers. Ride quality, they did ride really well. You could turn them all the way down if you want, or very low, like setting 5. And it's not bouncy, it's not crazy, it goes down the road super smooth. You could turn them up and it definitely stiffens it up. So the ride quality is there. I've yet to own a set of Fortunatos. I'm just going off of some other guys in the community that have them. And, apparently they ride pretty good too. These are a 10K, 8K, so 10K in the front, 8K in the rear. I believe the standard spring size, which I purchased for the HKS, they're 8K, 6K, but even still with the 10K in the front, they say they ride pretty good. And again, with the Fortunatos, you would have dropped down to an 8K, 6K, you just get on their website and buy a set of springs. Not a big deal. So I did go an extra step further and ended up having ground control build me a set of camber and caster plates. So you have camber, caster, both in the same adjustment for my HKS coilovers. So I could actually bring the strut away from the tire and get away from having to use my camber bolts. These were about $350. I do plan on keeping these in case I want to use them. For the Fortunato coilovers, I believe they're 2.5 inch spring perch. I don't know what the Fortunatos are, but just a quick measurement with a tape measure, they look pretty close to 2.5 inch. So hopefully that's the case. But if not, you know, I'll probably end up selling these or something. But the only reason for these is just to get your caster back in spec, because you can't really adjust caster with these. And as some people may have read on the forums in the past, the caster with the Fortunato or with the Evo 8 style camber plate is non-adjustable really, and it's not going to be the same as the 3000 GT is from the factory. It gives you some negative caster, which is actually kind of good, but too much can be also not good from what I understand. So just other things to think about. But it doesn't give you any positive caster from what I've seen. So, but that's all I wanted to share with you guys. So yeah, let me know what you think. I didn't see that there was a lot of comparisons and coilovers for, you know, our cars out there. I know these are off of an Evo, but we're using them on a 3000 GT, so it pertains more to us. And these are like two of the top big contenders. So yeah, I'll upload a video once the Fortunatos are on and tell you what you guys, you know, what I think about how they ride and, you know, whatnot. So, all right, take care.